And a very pleasant good evening to all our happy campers out there. It is a beautiful Monday evening, October 22nd, 2018, just after 8 p.m. Eastern here on the East Coast. We're coming to you live from Connoisseurs headquarters with a very special episode looking at the Big Red Machine. Unfortunately, not the baseball version, but you know what? It's just as good because we've got Kane on the showcase tonight. Welcome to the Connoisseurs of Wrestling. As always, we got a full house here. George, my good buddy George, how are you?
That's gotta be Biff. You see what I did there?
Damn Skippy Hippie. Oh.
Thank you for the introduction. An honor to be with you on this fine Monday night. 61 degrees here in Chicago, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's a comfortable.
Perfect day.
Yeah, it's comfortable. Fall temperatures are everywhere. We had the low temperature got down into like 30s here, so it's actually not summer anymore. We don't have to roast our butts off. Speaking of roasting, I'm jealous of this fella. He had barbecued steak tonight, so he's on my crap list for not sending me some. But the OG, the Godfather, does what the Godfather will. TakersMinion in the house. Taker, welcome to the show. You were originally supposed to be MIA tonight, but you've got that Lou Gehrig Ironman streak working. How's it going, my friend?
Yeah, I've got to have a Lou Gehrig Ironman streak going because I got one more tomorrow night, but I'm doing quite well.
And, of course, we would be remiss in not welcoming the curator of the Connoisseur. She's the best among us. The one, the only, Mrs. TakersMinion, LegendsLover. How are you doing, LL?
I'm doing pretty good.
We have a great show for you tonight, and this is one of the more interesting shows that we've done in a while because I think for the first time we all have direct firsthand experience at watching the totality of this character. Generally speaking, we can pull out performers in the past who have had long careers, maybe started in the 60s or 70s and wrestled into the 80s, or people who started in the early 80s and have gone into the 90s, even to the present day. But this is an interesting case for us because it's a character that began in 1997 and has continued on all the way to 2018. So we're talking a long run of success here. But someone that we were all around to see from start to finish. And so we all have a first-hand perspective that we could offer on Kane. Glenn Jacobs, as a performer, goes back a few years before his official debut as Kane. He was in the WWF as early as 1994, working as Isaac Yankem DDS. He had some success in Jim Cornette's Smoky Mountain Wrestling. But when you mention Glenn Jacobs, you really have to start with the character he's most known for. It's the character that he's had all of his success with. It's one of the most legendary characters in the business. And it's a character, Takers, that I think people are surprised, even today, that it works so well. Because on paper, the character of Kane doesn't really seem like it would fit in the era that it came around in. But I tell you what, I'm going to get you to jump in here direct because not only did Kane work as a character, it worked exceedingly well.
That he did, and the whole I think part of what made it stick and made it so good is that he was affiliated with Paul Bearer, and The Undertaker. As you know, Kane has always been the brother, half-brother, stepbrother, as Cornette would say, Brooks Brothers, Hardy Brothers, But that I believe helped get him over as a character, as being affiliated with those two. In my personal opinion, anyway. There aren't very many wrestlers out there that could be have one name. And Glenn Jacobs can do it as Kane. Very simple. Simple and direct. He was always a brawler because he's so big. And for a man of his size, he actually was very quick on his feet. But as he got older, we all know what happened. He starts slowing down.
But, I think that's an important point to bring up, and that is like the Undertaker, who, in kayfabe, Undertaker and Kane are obviously brothers. Kane started out as kind of this slow, almost ethereal character, brawler. But LL, as you watch Kane's evolution, it is important to note Kane went on a very similar trajectory to the Undertaker, where he went from being a brawler to almost a high-flying big man. He had some very memorable spots where he's jumping off of steel cages, where he's doing high spots. Talk a little bit, if you could, about the transition of Kane from being kind of the slow Undertaker-like brawler into more of the performer that we would kind of come to know in the 2000s.
Well, that performer, through what I remember, is when he came out with Daniel Bryan, when the two of them were tag teams. That's where Kane did a lot of different things. He wasn't just the big guy that could just grab somebody and just throw him around. He actually was doing some wrestling moves, and it made it seem a little different. They calmed the character down.
Yeah. That would be kind of one of Kane's big MOs over his career, was just how good of a tag team wrestler he was. I mean, he was in several high-profile tags, both in terms of actual continued tag work or in just memorable tag matches. But, we can talk about so many different aspects of Kane's career, from his personas, the mask, the original character, and his work with The Undertaker. Of course, George, when you talk about Kane, you have to really start with his debut. They had been building Kane up for months, really, on television in preparation for his actual appearance at Bad Blood. And, of course, when he came out during the end of the Hell in a Cell match, ripping the door off, kind of shocking everyone. What did you think about Kane's debut? Were you watching at the time, and did it kind of strike you as almost being, too clever, or was it really something that hit home for you as a young fan?
Well, the match that he debuted in is one of my favorite matches in the history of the company. It may be one of the best matches in the history of the company. If you said if you said on my list that's the best match the WWF/E ever produced, I wouldn't argue with you, because I can see an argument for that. That match is pure wrestling perfection. And he is a huge reason why it works at the end, because that little bleepity bleep Shawn Michaels won the damn match. Because this giant jacked monster, comes out and interferes. And I remember watching it at my friend Brian's house, across the street, who ordered all the pay-per-views. And we're watching, we're like, wow, this match rules. Because even then, you understand what good wrestling is at the age of 12. And then, that's gotta be Kane! That's gotta be Kane! And we're like, who is this guy? And he just manhandled The Undertaker. Oh my God! And fun fact, if you were born the day Kane gimmick debuted, you'd be of legal drinking age. That's the longevity. That's the longevity he's had in that gimmick.
Oh, don't make me feel old.
I know, but like,
oh.
And another thing about him, for his size, you mentioned it, he was an awesome athlete. He wasn't just the typical big man grunt and chop, and he could do cool stuff. He was ripped to shreds, especially when he lost the mask and he was just wearing the long pants.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about Kane, is even though Undertaker and Kane are not brothers in real life, I don't know if this was a deliberate choice on the part of the agents and the writers, or if it just kind of worked out like this. But Taker, you could reflect on this. Undertaker, over his first couple of years, he was never a bad worker, but he was never considered an elite in-ring worker. He was always kind of working the slower, brawling style. It wasn't until 4 or 5 years into his run that Undertaker started showcasing the talent that made him the elite in-ring worker on top of being a great character. Kane had a very similar trajectory. Over the first couple of years, he was kind of known as a really intimidating presence, but kind of a lumbering giant, a brawler, just kick and punch and choke. But by 2002, 2003, he's wrestling in tag team matches with Rob Van Dam. He's having 3 to 4 star matches with Triple H at a period where Triple H is kind of hobbled by injury. It's really interesting to track the similarity between The Undertaker and Kane with respect to their kind of identity as in-ring workers. They both, over time, kind of shed the lumbering giant label.
Yeah, that they did, and it's interesting to watch their whole transition from when they first got here, first appeared in WWF/E to where they are now, and the amount of changes. Kane's character, with the mask or without the mask, heel, baby face, it didn't matter. He always stayed basically the same character. It wasn't, he didn't rechange himself. He would disappear from TV for a while if people felt that his character was getting stale. He would just disappear from TV, and then they would bring him back in like 3, 4, 5 months. And it's like people had forgotten about him. And then here, all of a sudden, here comes Kane, and he's going to kick somebody. He's out to kill. He's out to do something. What is it? Is he face or is he heel now? Do we know? We don't know. Who is he going to attack? We don't see. We don't know.
Did anyone in that era, because we all were watching during that era, I think it's pretty safe to say, did anyone in that era ever get the kind of return pops that Kane got?
Not that I could think of. Well, wait. The only people that could actually get better pops than Kane, return pops, would be Road Warriors Legion of Doom.
Yeah, it's so weird because it seems like more than anyone else, more than The Rock, more than Triple H. Triple H had a hell of a return pop at Madison Square Garden in 2002. That was a hell of a roar. And then Austin and Rock have had their big return pops. It seems like Kane, more than anyone else, had 5 or 6 different moments where he came back from either injury or a prolonged absence and just tore the freaking roof off the place. It was just insane how loud the crowd got. And one of the most famous moments of the early 2000s on Raw, Kane coming out to take out the McMahon-Helmsley era with the Radicals in tow. I mean, Paul Bearer walking down and just sending Kane as a one-man wrecking crew. The crowd went banana. It's just ridiculous how hot they could get Kane. But the irony of it is really, it took them several years before Kane actually became a stable main eventer. It feels like whenever they would get him really hot, especially between 99 and 2003, they never wanted to pull the trigger. He had moments where he would get close to main event level. Of course, he had the main event run with Austin in 98. Then he kind of fell back into the feud with The Undertaker. Came back up when Undertaker and Kane started fighting Austin for the title in the fall of 98.
The Brothers of Destruction time.
Yeah, and, it just feels like even though they got so close, they definitely made him an upper card character. I would argue he didn't truly become a real main event talent until maybe 2003 or 2004. Anybody want to weigh in on that as to why it took Kane so long to kind of get over the hump and sustain himself as a top-tier player?
I think a part of it was the gimmick is kind of limiting, to be honest. I think he had a really good match with Chris Benoit, which I think turned the corner. And I want to say 2004, the same event where Shawn Michaels and Triple H had the 4.5-hour-long Hell in a Cell match.
Oh, I know exactly.
Yeah, but you discussed earlier how Undertaker wasn't allowed to do a whole lot until 97-ish in the ring. I think a lot of that had to do with Kane, and he wasn't really turning face and heel a few times. Like after the X-Pac tag ran its course and the RVD ran its course, he wasn't really presented as a credible in-ring threat until that Benoit feud.
Right.
So I think that helped.
Oh, don't forget they had he had the feud with Triple H over China.
Yes.
I had
during that time.
completely blanked that out.
That was between what? Yeah, 1998 to 2002. This is a whole Brothers of Destruction and Corporation and Degeneration X.
That's right. The corporation. Yeah, that shows you how far back we're going.
And at the end of it was when he shot the fireball across the ring. It was supposed to hit Triple H and it hit China. And China had remember China had the strong feelings for her. Then
that's right.
He had the major crush on her.
Yeah, this was because it was the angle with China preceded the angle with Tori, Tori, the OG Tori that ended up being with X-Pac. Which, speaking of tag teams, we have so many different eras of Kane with tag team partners. And Ella, you mentioned the Daniel Bryan pairing. Just going off the list here, just some of the more notable tag team partners. Of course, the Brothers of Destruction with Undertaker is probably his most famous. But he had a big tag team run with X-Pac, big runs with Rob Van Dam, had a pairing with Big Show as part of the Authority. Would you say that his run with The Undertaker is probably his most famous tag team run, or do you think that Team Hell No with Daniel Bryan surpasses it?
I think him and the Brothers of Destruction was the better tag team.
So you're going with Undertaker and Kane?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
George, what are you thinking? You gonna back that up, or?
Yeah, I think I am. I think I'm gonna back that up.
I think I'm the only person here that's gonna be a voice of opposition. Then I think Kane and Undertaker had a unique dynamic, but I actually preferred the tag team of Kane and Rob Van Dam. I don't know why. I have no real empirical evidence to kind of supplant that. I'm not a big fan of Team Hell No. I got to be honest.
I like the skits. I don't like the matches, which when you have 2012, 2013, Daniel Bryan is tough,
I'm going to be okay. I know
I was in the building when they hugged it out the first time, and it was a hell of a moment. So I can't hate that,
I'm gonna well, then let me ask you a question, because I have what may be considered a hot take, and even though it's a bit off topic, hot takes get ratings. So
hey guys, I want to cut in for a minute. I do got a hot take. There's an announcement made on Twitter. Roman Reigns just relinquished the title.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He's had leukemia for 11 years, and it's back. He's going to be out of wrestling for a while. He just put the title in the middle of the ring.
Holy shit. Are you serious?
Yep, he has leukemia. It says, I've been living with leukemia for 11 years, and unfortunately, it's back. I'm going to have to relinquish the Universal Championship. But it also says that he talks about that he will beat it and he will be back again.
Oh my God.
Boy, you want to know something? All those Roman haters just have to eat crow. All the ones that wish it die, Roman should die. Roman should die. Roman should this. Roman should go away, never come back.
You're doing that thing again, Takers.
Huh?
You're doing that thing again, though, man. That Biff called you out on a couple weeks ago, where you take a few nut jobs on one far side of the spectrum and you conflate it with.
I'm putting all the Roman haters in that same group, and there's a lot of them. I mean, there's hundreds, thousands, and millions of them.
I don't think there are millions of people who want Roman Reigns to die.
Be that as it may.
Just
the haters themselves. Some of them are probably dancing in the streets now.
No, it's whether they like him or not. When something like this, yeah, you got to feel for the guy. And even ones that don't like Roman, I'm sure that they feel for the guy because of what's wrong with him. This is serious.
And if anybody should know, she should. LegendsLover should.
I don't know what to say. I honestly don't know what to say.
Get well. That's what I'm gonna say. Win. Fucking beat it, man.
Yep.
Win.
You
Win.
all right, Biff?
Now I'm going to say something that I can't on everybody else because of this one thing. There's one cancer thing that I subscribe to, and it's called fuck cancer.
Amen.
Win, man. Fucking win. That's what I'm gonna say. Win. When he comes back, it's gonna be awesome.
Yes, it is. He'll be back. He will be back.
When, not when, man.
I said he will, not when. I
You're
said
right.
he
You're
will.
right, man. He will. I know it. I know it. I know it in my bones.
But there's something
know?
there's something that's really bothering Biff here.
Yeah, cancer has taken so many of my family members. Whenever someone has cancer, it doesn't matter if I know them or not. I automatically feel for them because I know how terrible the disease is. We've completely lost the train of thought on the show, and I don't care at this point because this is breaking news.
This is much more important.
Yeah, this supplants what we were talking about. I have been a critic of Roman Reigns, but I've also tried to defend Roman Reigns at the same time. I defended the performer and criticized the usage. But more than anything, through every tangent, every argument, every article, every debate, the same cross current was I always felt bad that Roman Reigns, the person, had to go through the amount of crap that he went through. To know not only was he going through all of this crap, but living under the weight of leukemia. And it just...
It's nothing. It's not something that's... It's not even on his bio in... If you look up Wikipedia for Roman Reigns, there's nothing there.
That changes. I mean, you can't tell me that people would have still reacted the way they reacted to this guy if they had known that.
I don't think they would have.
How much of that would? I mean, maybe he didn't want anyone to know.
And that's a
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
That's a very salient point. He may not have wanted people to
know. That's a point that I'm willing to concede.
Yeah, I have no idea. And
he was in remission for 11 years. He didn't bring it up, but the remission is over right now. I think that's why he brought it up. He got sick.
That's here again. I say this, and I've got examples of it. You give someone a title, they get hurt, they get sick. Something happens where they have to give it up. Daniel Bryan had to relinquish both the WWE World Championship title. They also had to relinquish the Intercontinental title. Now, Becky Lynch won the first Women's SmackDown title. And 6-7 weeks later, she's turning it over to Alexa Bliss. We find out later that she was sick and hurt. It's like for certain individuals within the WWE, getting a title and having a title is...
Finn Balor had just won it, and
Finn Balor had just won it, and he had a shoulder injury and had to give it up. We can go on and on. That was the
next night.
But it's like they become so susceptible to injury or to illness. And Biff, I could empathize with you about what you said. My wife, LL, has had cancer twice and has beat it twice. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for both of them. Cancer took my mom. And it took me a long time to get over that. My dad had it and beat it. He died from complications from dementia. Both my grandparents on his side of the family died from cancer. My grandmother had brain cancer. My grandfather had colon cancer, which I just had a test done and I'm clean, thank God. My test came back negative. I understand how you feel, Biff. I truly understand.
It just
when I hear it happening to anybody, the first thing that comes to my mind is fuck cancer.
I wouldn't wish cancer on my worst enemy.
No,
I've had people that I've had arguments with, I've had falling out with. I wouldn't wish cancer on my worst enemy, and we had a discussion about that. You had a discussion last night about that off the air off of Whacked Out Wrestling. Yeah,
and there's a bunch of people over at that website that you don't like at all, but they're sworn enemies. And you said so. But you wouldn't wish this on them.
No. You know what? There's two levels here, and the wrestling level, the wrestling aspect is so far down on the totem pole right now. It's not even relevant.
I mean, the man's got kids.
Yeah, it's it's like the number one thing, the top level, the absolute most important thing right now is that Roman Reigns, the person, the real life person. I'm not talking the character. I mean the man behind the character. He gets the support that he needs from his family, his friends, from the company, and that's the number one thing. His livelihood, his health, his well-being. That's the most important thing right now. Far down below that, the flip side of the coin, it just punctuates the tragedy of the last couple of years. What could have been, Roman Reigns, the potential, what he could have been as a character. It just adds up, and it makes me feel. It just makes me sad to think that, we're looking at someone who's going through a battle, had went through a battle before that we didn't even know about. We always used to joke. This is what's getting me, I think. We used to joke about Roman Reigns having to overcome obstacles as a character point, and we used to laugh at that. But in reality, this guy really did have obstacles. And we never would have laughed at that had we known. And it's like there's some part of the story that we didn't know, and maybe we couldn't have known. It just makes me feel so much worse for him as a performer. All of the guff that he went through, trying to be what WWE wanted him to be. He didn't ask for the backlash and the boos. He didn't write his promos. He went out as a professional and did the job that he was asked to do, and did it way better than anyone else probably could have, given the hurdles that the fans put in his place.
Yeah.
And we can blame the company for that. We can blame whoever, but just knowing the real life obstacles now that he had to go through and will go through again to get back, it makes me feel even that much more sad about what we could have had over the last 5 years had things broken right for him.
He's younger than I am, and he's ripped and healthy, but none of that shit matters, man. And it's a gut punch. It's an absolute fucking gut punch,
Well,
and it's
he's healthy on the outside, and you find out
it's
he's got the blood cancer, and it's so hard to beat.
It's flooring that a man in the prime of his life, with kids and health and world-class doctors and and watches his diet and does everything right. Does everything you're supposed to do. Doesn't smoke, doesn't drink. You know what I'm saying? Like, doesn't eat like garbage. Works out every day. Does everything right. And this happens to him. It's flooring. You know. I'm speechless.
No, I agree, George. And the thing about it is, Adam Rice says it best. He goes, "This is an absolute shot in the balls." It is.
It is an absolute.
It's a nut shot. We make jokes about Shinsuke Shinsuke Nakamura giving everybody nut shots, right? This is serious. This is real here. This is fucking real. Pardon my language, and I'm sorry, but this is effing real.
He'll be back though. The man's a warrior.
Yes, he will. And I cannot wait. And I'm saying it now. I cannot wait till the night he does come back, because I'm sorry, if this show is around, I will not be there. I will not be here.
I mean,
I will be watching.
Anybody else? Anybody want to make the joke that I guess he comes back as he finally becomes the babyface?
We were talking
5 years.
We were talking a few minutes ago about Kane blowing the roof off the place. You want to hear the fucking roof go off?
Yeah.
Wait till
he'll finally become the babyface.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not an if, man. He's a warrior. He's got the blood of warriors. You look at some of the stuff that his ancestors did, man, and you look at some of the stuff that he's done. The guy is a warrior in every sense of the word. He'll be back. I know it. I know it more than I know anything. He will be back.
George, who is his father?
It doesn't. And you know what? And you know what? It's not that who's his father, and you're right. And it's not that who's his. It's that we're all with him, man. You never walk alone, right?
No.
Never walk alone. And if one person's got it, and if you need someone to pick him up, I'm there. And even if I'm not there, someone's there, and we're all there.
And you know as well as I do. You know as well as I do. Everybody that's in management with WWE, everybody, be they friend or foe, or even his fellow wrestlers in the back, they're all in his corner.
Oh, we all are. We all are.
Everybody
is in this corner, and if you're not, get the fuck out.
If you're still one of the, I apologize for my language ahead of time. You know what's coming. If you are still one of those jackasses, those jackoffs that boo Roman Reigns and just shit talk him even after this. I mean, if you can't have an ounce of human compassion for someone that's going through cancer, go fuck yourself. Get out of my radar.
Get off my lawn.
You're not worth.
I'm done with you, man. Yeah. You know what? Here's the deal. Like, I cannot get over that a guy who is as healthy as he is being crippled by this. It astonishes me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he may have bad blood. But he's got the heart of a fucking champion, and I know he will get through this. I know it.
I'm gonna need just a few minutes, guys. My
food's there.
No, this is just.
You wanna? I mean,
it's tearing him up.
Yeah, no, you're good, dude. You're fine.
My cousin died of leukemia and left his kids behind, and it's getting me kind of.
No, Biff, man.
Biff, it's all right. Biff, it's all right.
You never have to apologize to us.
No, you're human, Biff. You're a human being.
And any of us, put it this way, any of us that's went through cancer or had it touch our lives, we know what you're going through.
I really could use that pumpkin spice milkshake right now. I could really use a pumpkin spice milk.
No, I could tell you something you really could use there, Biff. Is what was your favorite Southern comfort food when you were a kid?
Oh God, Southern comfort food?
Yeah, like the food that they make down south.
Yeah. But probably the potato salad we make down here. I think.
Go. You know what? Tomorrow, go to the store and buy everything you need to make it. and make it. And it's if you eat the whole damn bowl, you eat the whole damn bowl. But you know what? You'll feel better after it's all over.
That or I'll have a massive stomach ache, one or the other.
Right.
One or the other.
Yeah.
That sounds good too.
Yeah.
But
Y'all just give me a few minutes, and I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'm just gonna take the headset off for a few minutes, and I'll be back. So
I am not, and Takers and Legends and Biff, you guys know this. I am not a Roman Reigns fan, and I am not a Roman Reigns hater. I am a Roman Reigns agnostic. It's the term I've used, but
yes, I've heard that before.
It's none. I mean, a man is sick. Like none of that shit matters. It's just
shit got real. That's what happened.
It's not even. It's just
shit just got real.
How do you go on if you're backstage at that show? The professionalism that crew has, and Cole and Renee and Corey Graves and the refs and the camera guys and the lighting guys, and it just how do you put on a show after that? Like, but they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it, man. They're. I don't know. I don't know.
Not to minimize your thought.
No. You go on, man. I am
not to minimize your thought here, but
you're not minimizing it. Go on. I'm sorry.
It fits. It's how can I put it? As I want to bring up something that hurts a lot of people. Okay, and that's Owen. When he died, how come they went forward with the show?
I don't know. I mean, you're not wrong.
It's the same question now. This is probably in the first segment tonight. They opened the show with it. It took all the wind out of the fans' sales. It took the wind out of everybody.
Maybe close it. I don't know.
I'll bet
I can't criticize them.
I'll bet you any amount of money when I'm done here, when we're done here tonight, I'm gonna go back because I've got Raw. I'm gonna have Raw on TiVo, and I'm gonna go all the way back to the beginning, and I want to see how the crowd reacts when they find out. I want to see.
Yeah, I don't. I wish I had words. I mean, I know I'm on a podcast and I know I'm supposed to talk, but it's just like
it's hard.
It's
tough.
Hard.
It's
tough.
hard to
He's
do.
got kids. He's got little kids, guys.
It's hard to do what you got to do when you hear something like this and you feel bad.
Yeah, it really is.
Because like I said, I know what it's like. I've had it. My doctors have already told me I will get it again. They just don't know when and where.
I mean, but you're gonna beat it, and I'm gonna be there. And I'm going to be there to help you beat it.
I've got 7 grandchildren, and the 8th one is my daughter is pregnant again. So yeah, I've got grandchildren to live for. Roman's got his kids to live for. Wants to see them grow up.
And he will. He's got a daughter, right?
He's got a daughter. Yeah.
And as God is my witness, he's going to dance at her wedding. I promise you that.
We got to look at it this way too, George. There is the possibility that even after Roman wins this battle, when he does win this battle, he may not ever be able to wrestle again.
God, what a tragedy!
That's right.
What a tragedy. Well,
you figure all the treatments he's got to go through.
Yeah, the fatigue and the
chemo and everything. Chemo that could do so much damage.
I'm floored at this, but
I'm gonna let out something, and I'm probably gonna get yelled at. But you know what? Cancer even touches one of my podcasts. It touches shooting the breeze. MDS also had leukemia. And he's defeated it. I don't think he'll be mad at me for saying that.
No,
because You know, that's why I love that man so much. That's why I love MDS so much. You know, I worry about him. I care. I worry about you, George. I worry about everybody that are my friends that I hold close. You're in that group. You're in that closed circle with me. Whether you want to be there or not, I've pulled you in. You're in that circle, and I'm not letting you go. And that goes for anybody that I call a friend. I know a lot of people. I've met a million people. I have very few friends. Because the friends are the ones that are there for you through the good and the bad. And I know when times get hard, you'll help me through, or Chris will help me through, or anybody else will help me through. Because that's what we do. And that's why we're all here for Roman. It's because that's what we do.
That's what we do. I mean, we may be, you know, I hate wrestling Twitter, but I mean, it's a good place right now. as depressing as the reason why, it is a good place right now, you know?
Yes.
So I won't.
I can only imagine what it's like. I can only imagine the outpouring of love that's happening for Roman Reigns.
Yeah, it is. And when he steps back into that ring, he's going to be the ultimate babyface. You know? It's going to be great. It's going to be so great.
You know what? People think the Shield is just a tag team. They said it's a brotherhood.
Wrestling is a brotherhood, though.
There was a picture they had on Twitter. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins were at the top of the ramp. Roman's up there, and he's hugging. They are hugging him. They are holding him up. They are being his brothers.
I just want to relay a tweet that I just saw. You were talking about Twitter a moment ago. Samoa Joe just tweeted this. He will fight. He will win. He will return stronger, and I will be waiting to face him.
Wow.
That's it, man.
A fucking man. That's right.
You know, I mean, I can't speak for anyone else on this show, but if that's your gimmick, for lack of a better word, light a candle for the guy today. You know, say a few words before you put your head on the pillow for the guy today. You know, it's really just a gut punch, and I mean, he's what, 32, 33, right? He's
my age.
Yeah. So he's younger than I am, and it's just I can't.
31, right, Biff?
I'm 32.
Yeah, okay. It's say a few words for him tonight, man. So
we will definitely, all four of us. Obviously, you could tell from our conversation on this subject. You know, we all care very deeply about this subject because we've all been affected, you know, in some capacity, whether it's personal struggles, the struggles of our loved ones or family. You know, our thoughts and our prayers collectively to Roman Reigns and his family, especially his family too, because they, you know, it's one thing to go through the disease, it's another to watch someone you love struggle with it. Taker, you know exactly what I'm talking about here.
Disease doesn't just affect the person, it affects the family. It's a family disease.
The treatments, you know, you were talking about the chemotherapy, you know, people, it's cancer is a horrible disease. The treatments for the disease are almost as horrible. I mean, that's what actually, my father passed away because of a reaction to the treatment that he was getting. You know, it's people don't even, it's just, oh God.
I didn't have to have chemo. I had radiation. And the damage that the radiation did is a lot of it is unspeakable. I mean, it burned. There's a lot of things because of where I had my radiation. that I have a hard time tasting things yet. I have a hard time swallowing. You listen to me talk. The reason is because what the radiation did is it's made it where my glands do not produce saliva they need to. So I still have, after 8 years, my treatment was 8 years ago. It'll be 8 years starting the end of the month. And I'm still having a lot of the problems that I had back then.
It was 8 years ago to end of last month, honey, because you were in the middle of treatment.
No, it was October and November.
No, that's right. You were in treatment when my mother's birthday came around, which is this week.
Okay.
Because remember, where was I?
7 weeks. Yep, 7 weeks. I went through that. And it's going to be 8 years ago. And I'm still not completely recovered from everything. So yeah, the treatments are just as damaging and just as bad as the disease itself.
You know, everybody, and I'm not saying you're wrong for this, Biff, okay? Please do not take this the wrong way. Because I'm speaking from, the experience here, as you are. Cancer not only affects the person who has it, it affects everyone that's close to them in one form or fashion. I'm going to say something that has caused many issues between LL and I. And I remember I mentioned it took me a long time to get over my mom's passing from cancer. Okay. LL had her cancer after my mom had passed away. She was going through treatment and was going to survive, and it was looking that way. I was hurt. I was jealous. I was resentful. I resented the fact. And you want to know why I resented the fact? Is how could it, it was all because I wanted my mother.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. And I didn't do anything for Mother's Days. For many years, I didn't do anything for LL on Mother's Day. Nothing. Then I started wishing her happy Mother's Day. We'd like late in the day. And this year, for the first time, I got off of work, went to the local place that sells flowers, bought 24 red roses and a card. I was sitting down in the recliner when she came down from being in bed asleep. Her jaw hit the floor and waterworks started because it was something that I hadn't done since my mother passed away. This was the first time. It took me that long.
I know that feeling that you're talking about. There's on the one level, you're glad that, if someone is in remission, you're glad because you know how terrible it is. But then there's that bitterness that, why couldn't your loved one share that same joy of being in remission? Mm-hmm. And I know that feeling. And all I'll tell you is this, at the end of the day, I don't like to say that people lose their battle with cancer. I just like to say that people finish their battle. As long as you fight, you never lose. Death is not, a loss. It's a temporary loss for the people that care for you, but cancer won't win unless we let it win. And I look forward to the day when, whether it's immunotherapy, whether it's
gene therapy,
any type of early detection, whatever miracle they come up with. I look forward to the day when cancer is no longer cancer. And I joked with my brother, I'm living long enough to where I can buy a plot in a cemetery and buy a headstone for cancer's death when cancer is eradicated, just so that I could take a piss on that grave. Just so that I could piss on the headstone.
I would be right there with you, buddy.
There would be a line out the fucking yin-yang to get to that headstone.
Yes, there would.
And you know what? And that's the last time I'm going to talk all fatalistic about it, because I think we all agree here that we are all counting down the days until Roman Reigns comes back and he gets the Triple H 2002 pop where people give him a 15-minute standing ovation.
Just in case you forgot who the hell I am. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yep. My God. Stop.
My buddy and I still talk about that. We talk about the guy making the Triple H pop.
That was one of the greatest comebacks ever.
It was awesome.
I'm fantasy booking my Roman Reigns return as we speak. So okay.
I'm gonna sign off. I'm gonna sign off, and I'm gonna watch that first TLC match from 2012, where poor Seth Rollins brains his head on the table, and it's Ryback and Team Hell No versus the Shield. And you know what? Real quick, I was at my dad's house we were having a Christmas party because it's December 2012. My dad, I talked to my dad. My dad's watched wrestling for 50 years, right? We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
And it was, hey, you want to order the pay-per-view tonight? Yeah, sure, why not, right? Why not, you know? And my dad and I are watching the show, and the Shield comes out. My dad does not watch anything other than Raw and New Japan on Access. So he doesn't know who Tyler Black was, or he didn't know who John Moxley was. You know, he don't know any of that. These are just 3 blank slates to him, you know? And my dad's been watching wrestling long enough, and he goes, these 3 are legit. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, these 3 are the future. And I'll never forget him saying that. And you know what? They're still the future. Because they all 3 got years and years and years left in this business.
Well, so, hell, man, George, all 3 of them are Grand Slam winners.
Yeah, I mean, but they're the future. They're not done. They're not done writing. They're not done writing their books.
One of them was already one of those 3 has already rewritten a record book.
Yeah, but they're not done writing those books, though. They're still writing in pencil, you know?
Yeah, he won every belt that the company has. This is Roman Reigns. He's won tag team gold. He's won the Intercontinental, the U.S., the WWE World Championship, the WWE Championship, and now the Universal. He's the first-time quintuple winner of a championship. He's the very first one. He's held every belt for the men's that he can. All of them.
Here's a tweet that I think everybody will like. Roman is one of the best I've ever been in the ring with, and one of the guys I respect and look up to the most in this industry. My thoughts are with him and his family. I can't wait to see him overcome this and get to share a locker room with him again soon. That is from Kevin Owens.
Jesus.
When, not if, man. That's all I got to say. When.
There is the love is coming.
It's when. So,
you know,
I don't have anything else on anything. Sorry. I don't have anything else. I'm sorry.
Under the circumstances, I think that it would probably be best if we just go ahead and wrap this up tonight, because obviously with everything that's going on, I don't know that anyone here is going to be in a particular mood to...
No.
I'm not.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
honey,
guys.
are you in any mood to go forward, or do you want to stop?
No. I just wanted to say to the listeners, we're sorry about what's going on, and I apologize for all the language that we used that we usually don't. But
yeah, thank you.
It's a hard time today.
Yeah.
Hey, man. And I'll say this on behalf of all of us, because I can already tell you we all feel the same way. It's, we do this show because we love it. We love the business. we love talking about our memories watching wrestling when we were growing up, or our favorite angles, our favorite performers. We have a respect for the business. We have a passion for the business, and that extends to everyone that's ever been in the business. And at a time like this, you know what? I mean, this show can keep. It can keep for another week. We can talk about these memories anytime, but right now, you know, on behalf of all of us here at the Connoisseurs of Wrestling, we just want to send our thoughts and our prayers to Roman Reigns and his family. We wish him a speedy recovery. Beat cancer, beat it hard, beat it fast, and come back stronger than ever. And we'll be looking forward to the day when we hear that music playing. Guys, you know what?
Sounds good to me, man.
We normally talk about wrestling history. This is one of the first times we've ever had breaking news come into the show. But you know what? I appreciate all of you being here tonight. I appreciate y'all sitting in with me during this point, and we'll just see where things go from here. But on behalf of LegendsLover, George Atsaves, and TakersMinion, I'm Biff Kensington. Thank y'all so much for being here tonight. Wish it was under better circumstances. We'll be back next week, better than ever, with another episode of the Connoisseurs of Wrestling. Take care, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye, guys.